Good evening, everybody. We will be starting the session in 5 minutes from now. Should we start, ma'am?
Yes, sir, we can start, I feel.
Right. Thank you. Kishan? Ren, good to go?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yes,
Thank you.
please. Yeah.
Good evening, everybody. Hope all of you are keeping safe and healthy. My name is Muralidharan, and I'll be moderating the show today. At the outset, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to Director Ma'am for hosting today's webinar. Thank you, ma'am. The Mount Litera School audience, I can see that a lot of you are joining in, and we're looking forward to a great interaction with you. And before we start today's session, I will begin with sharing the idea of hosting today's event. I'll share what is the purpose of having this event today. As you're aware, there is so much gloom all around. You're not being able to attend the school, not being able to meet friends and play with them the way you used to. And we want to build some positive vibes in this situation. We want to talk about making best of the situation. While this pandemic has brought many challenges, restrictions like social distancing rules, etc. But there is also a lot of innovation that is happening around. We want to discuss about the new opportunities that can be availed in this time. Some of the innovations that I was going through are simple yet very brilliant ones, which we have come up in our country. For example, coming up with a mask which has a transparent mouth guard to help deaf people to lip read. A e-rickshaw wala in Kolkata has come up with compartments in his e-rickshaw to maintain distance between the passengers. There are shops, grocery shops, as well as milkmen experimenting with no contact delivery of essentials. For example, I was reading about a milkman in Madhya Pradesh who's using a funnel and a long pipe to channel the milk into a container held by a customer. That way, they both avoid contact and practice social distancing. Robots are being deployed in hospital isolation wards to carry food and medicines, which eases the pressure on medical staff, as well as we have drones that are being used to deliver medical supplies and even check people's temperature using thermal imaging. So business landscape. Businesses have to be imaginative, bold, and forward-looking as it moves into the post-pandemic world. Today, we'll be interacting with industry leaders on career and study opportunities that you can avail of in this pandemic time. We are going to have eminent panelists joining us today on our show. And remember, they are as excited to take your questions. Please type in your questions in the question answer chat box, and we'll try to pick as many questions as possible to present before the panelists. Before we begin with our first panelist, we'd like our audience to know that you'll be awarded a certificate of participation. To get the certificate, you need to fill in the feedback form, link to which we will be displaying in this program. Stay tuned and look forward to an exciting interaction. So today we have as our first panelist, Kavita Madam. Please welcome to the show, ma'am. And it's a great privilege to have you with us here today, ma'am. At the outset, I'd like to express my heartfelt gratitude for giving us permission to have this show. And I'm especially indebted to you for agreeing to be part of the show. Welcome to the show, ma'am.
Good evening, sir.
Ma'am, the last few years have seen a huge number of startups, because I asked this question because you are by profession a chartered accountant, and you have done your law, as well as, I mean, you have a lot of business experience as well, in addition to the fact that you have been more than 2 decades in the education segment. So we have seen in the last few years a lot of startup spurts and innovative business ideas which have been coming up. So overnight growth of business ideas. With so many startups and business ideas blossoming, do you think knowledge in finance and business would make the future of students look bright?
Good evening, everyone, and good evening, the fellow Muralidhar sir, Krishnan sir, Mr. Manishi, and teachers and students. Okay, so it's a very interesting discussion which you have led to. I think for any innovation or even the startup to come in place, the basic financial knowledge is much important. Like even if you have to look whether this business is going to run or not, the startup will be right for me or not, you need the financial knowledge, you need the background of the project report, you need even the loans to be passed through. So a lot of commercial knowledge is required even before the scientific knowledge can be in place. So that ensures that today any set of economy will require or will have a preference over the commercial knowledge. Okay, how big maybe the scientific idea may be, or maybe how big the innovation may be.
Right.
So even if I have to share my own example of Mount Letter coming in place, or maybe the school coming in safe, the basic part of forming the trust, okay, and even seeing that the loan is passed, we get the ATG certification. Lot of things became handy because of my commercial knowledge, or maybe you can say the CA background, and that really helped me out to overcome a lot of challenges. So I feel that this is much, much important, and the engagement of commerce students will be very, very high in coming of times also.
Great. Ma'am, I mean, the very fact that, I mean, you were able to associate it to your personal experience makes this answer more important. So, ma'am, you have been associated with the education segment now for nearly 2 decades now. Further, you have visited so many schools in your role as an assessor for accreditation. In your experience in all these years, what would you say are the major challenges that a student face in our schooling system, and especially the commerce students?
So if I have to talk about commerce, I feel that their previous knowledge is really, if you say, it's a very, very bland status when they start their commerce subjects. Okay, maybe after 10th, when they start accounts, they're not aware of the word debit or trade. That is the fact as today is. Okay,
Right.
they start with very some, depreciation, small things. Okay, they are not acquainted with. Maybe we fail to teach them or integrate the real life skills which is required at a very basic age. Maybe you can say middle school. Okay, where I feel each child must know how to compute their total income, maybe income and expenditure. They must understand those. Okay, because finally, whatever they earn, they have to live it well, or maybe you have to say that they need to learn to how to manage their money. If we are there to educate them to earn well, I feel we have to also educate them to spend it well, or maybe manage it well, and take care of the various insurance or maybe risk plans and other things which they may
Right.
face. And today with the pandemic period also, the world has learned, we have learned a lot, that yes, a lot of families came into problems because maybe they earned well but they did not manage it well. So as a real life skill, I feel children have to be imparted this knowledge, and the middle school program itself has to take care of it.
Right.
And coming to the experience of travel, I must say that Switzerland is far, far ahead in these lines. Okay, I visited Switzerland this January itself, and there I found a very interesting program, where the child gets a experience of industry knowledge along with the subject knowledge. So it could be any subject, maybe scientific or commercial subject, or maybe economics. So they have a parallel integrated program, and that is more interesting, where the child gets a complete application, part of it. He strengthens on the application part, then working on the theory of the classes. So there, I feel our system has to do something, and with the new education policy in place, I feel we will be more sufficient, or maybe having more competences to ensure that even India has a better approach in terms to integrated and a multidisciplinary curriculum, which is much required for the hour.
Right.
And same
Wonderful.
with Finland, they have a complete multidisciplinary approach, right? They don't have one
Right.
subject, which is done today in India. I
Right.
feel there's a huge change which is required or desired for our system.
Mm. Right. I could see
Yes,
that.
sir.
I mean, Ren was
I
getting
hope.
all excited because this answer of yours of about the skill gap that exists in our schooling and the industry. I mean, that is something very close to his heart. I mean, and he has been working really very hard on this. And I could see that he was getting all excited with what you were talking about the skill gap. So we'll be hearing him on this topic. But before I go to him, ma'am, I have one more question for you. In India, majority of the commerce students, I mean, when we talk about a commerce stream, are of the opinion that the ultimate future for a commerce student is becoming a chartered accountant. I mean, if you talk about commerce, I mean, the first thing they can talk about is chartered accountancy. The students are kind of fixated in becoming a chartered accountant, assuming that there are no other career options for them. So, what is your opinion on this?
Many options. I feel this is what we try to educate our children, or maybe that scope they see around themselves is more in numbers. Okay,
Right.
but if you see actually, like they can do a lot. They can be a chartered financial analyst, they can be a certified public accountant, or they can do a lot of MBA courses with analytical skills. So the commerce has a lot of scope, okay, in terms to maybe risk analysts they can become, right? They could become uh, in bank investors,
Right.
public portfolio managers, right? So they could do a lot, and there are a lot of opportunities arenas into it. So it is upon us schools, when we are trying to educate them at the +2 level, or maybe at the senior secondary level, that how we have to incorporate these skills so that they find more value than just looking at to become a chartered accountant, or something like that. And I
Right.
know you have more interesting plans to share on this
Right.
domain with them,
Sure.
so I
Sure.
wait for
Sure.
that.
Right. Ma'am, I just, because I mean, I would like to refer to your previous answer. And based on that, I would like to ask you something. I mean, because you did mention about the skill gap that exists in the terms that, I mean, the school level, we are not preparing the children for the future. So based on the fact that you have traveled across multiple countries, you are talking about Switzerland and Finland, the kind of curriculum, the integrated curriculum that they have. So what do you think we can do here in order to engage engage with the students and ensure that they are more better prepared for the future? If you have some ideas, we'd like to hear them.
So see if there could be some engagement in terms to developing their skills. At the same time, they qualify those skills. Then just on pen and paper, okay, they master those skills. And this is certification like you earn the credits, right? You clear that paper, you earn it. It is a bonus point for you. So it should be a motivational skill-based study where a child is more encouraged, more learning, and those is even carried forward for his future. Right, as a reserve bank, right? So this could be a engaging program where he can collaboratively, put more for his future life or future career. So I feel where the learning has to be more engaging. A student also, there should be some associated programs with maybe chartered accountancy courses or maybe certified associations, okay, like financial literacy programs, okay, which is there today in school. So similarly, some associations can be made for the commerce background also. I feel that will make more sense for students.
Wonderful, wonderful. That's a great idea, ma'am. We have Ren with us, joining us from London. And Ren has, I mean, because we gave him a very short time notice to join in, so he has to leave in between. So I'll just invite Ren, and I have a couple of questions for Ren. And then I have a lot of questions for you, ma'am, because I mean, your answers actually are prompting more questions. So I'll discuss that. Before I invite Ren, students, I have a request. Please keep your microphone on mute. Please keep your microphone on mute, please. Right, thank you. Our second panelist, Ren. Welcome to the show, Ren.
Thank you, Murali. How are you doing?
It's good.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. I'm sorry. At the outset, let me apologize that I would have to leave a bit early. I'm so glad to be part of this session.
Right. Thank you, Ren, for joining us. I know that I didn't give you enough notice, but thank you for making it possible to join here today. Understand, Ren, you're staying in London. So first, let's start with how's the weather there?
Whether it's actually winter. I mean, we have passed autumn and we are winter is almost here. So it's quite cold, getting cold, and it gets dark by around 4:30 in the afternoon. So yeah, so yeah, but still it's good actually. The weather is good. I mean, I can't complain, you know.
Great. So Ren, I mean, just to understand, because we are all going through COVID situation. So just to understand, how is the impact of COVID in UK? Have the schools reopened? Are you going to office? So at least, I mean, we can feel good about the fact that things are happening there in UK. So we can look forward to it happening in India also.
Yeah, so that's one of the funniest things that I was discussing with one of my colleagues just previously. I mean, just before this call. So out here, the schools and universities are open. So the COVID situation, we are on lockdown currently. So we are in lockdown. So all the shops, restaurants, everything is closed, except for the schools and universities. And my colleague in India was telling me, like, I mean, it's the other way around in India. The schools and universities are closed, but shops and everything else is open. Having said that, the numbers are increasing out here. There's a spike in numbers, and yeah, but hoping that things should get back to normal very soon, you know.
Right. Okay, Ren, I mean, on this note, I mean, like, because we have a very young audience here, we have students from class 7 to class 12 in our audience here today. So Ren, can you just explain to us in a very simple term, what exactly is ACCA?
Okay. So we are ACCA. ACCA stands for Association of Chartered Certified Accountants. So we are a UK global accountancy body that was established in the UK so around 116 years back in the year 1904. So we are present in over 180 countries. So around 6 lakh students take our qualification or study our qualifications, different levels of the qualification across in all these 180 countries. And we've got over 2 lakh members who have completed the qualification and working and running their own successful establishments in these countries across the globe. So, and in simple words, I can say that we are a UK chartered accountancy body, but a global body that is recognized. Our qualifications are recognized in a lot of countries across the globe. So if somebody who has completed ACCA qualification wants to go and work in Middle East, or wants to come and work in the UK or Ireland or Canada or Singapore or Malaysia, to just name a few countries, the opportunities are there.
Right. Great.
So, and also just one thing. So we work with over 7,400 global employers. When we are talking about global employers, it's multinational companies. You might have heard about Price Waterhouse, Ernst and Young, and Deloitte. Some of the right from Big Four to multinational companies around the globe.
Okay. So Ren, I mean, you are head of partnerships at ACCA. So I'm sure that your work must involve a lot of travel across the world. And keeping in view that we have a young audience here, and as a matter of fact, in our previous panelist, Kavita ma'am was talking about the skill gap, and which is, I know, that a very close topic that you are very much taking a keen interest in and working on that. So I'd just like to understand, like, can you just explain to our audience how important it is understanding finance and business at this age?
Yeah. I mean, now that you mentioned about skills gap, I just wanted to tell one thing about India in general, like, so India, it's estimated that nearly 60% of the graduates in the country don't have the relevant skills that employers are looking for. And when you come to finance and accounting or finance stream, only 2.59% of the graduates are considered employable. So there's a huge skills gap. And I was listening to Kavita ma'am very intently when she was talking about skills gap. So that's such a huge gap, skills gap. I mean, that's quite scary. And it's important that young people, young children have the relevant financial knowledge, because financial knowledge or knowledge about finance and business is important, because it's going to teach you how efficient in not just in your own personal lives, in your professional lives as well, efficient with your finances in such a way that, I mean, you can accomplish more goals, and the goals that you do have much faster. And financial, I mean, understanding about finance and business seeps into every area of your life. So you need that in every aspect of life. And another thing that I wanted to mention is that the world is changing at a very fast pace, and this COVID is a typical example. Like, I mean, wherein we have seen it's a disruption, kind of like the whole life has turned around. Now we are connected with each other online, virtually. So and the way in which businesses, organizations are working have also changed. So it is important that you need to understand, you need to be aware of the new business models, new finance models. And this, not only the ACC as a qualification, not only teaches about numbers or reporting, accounting or anything. It's increasingly about cooperation, negotiation, working with stakeholders, partnership with others within and outside your organization. So the kind of opportunities are tremendous for finance professionals. And the reason being, like, can you imagine about any organization without a finance department? Every organization in the world, whether it be domestic, multinational, or whether it be an automobile or any sector, need to have a finance team. Let's take a Mount Literature School. I'm sure like you have got a finance department or finance team looking after the finances of the organization. Without that, organizations can't. So the kind of opportunities that it would give is tremendous as well.
Right. So Ren, I mean, because I understand that you need to leave. So a quick question for you. So I'll just, we have a young audience here. And on the other hand, we are talking about chartered accountancy, finance. I mean, that seems to be a big gap. The gap in terms of, I mean, these are a profession that they need to take up. I mean, why should we talk about this at the school level? So, I mean, because I felt that, I mean, you should explain whether ACCA is actually meant for these students because they are at a very tender age. So do you think they should consider this right now, or you think they should take it up after some time, maybe a couple of years, if you have some examples?
I think, I mean, that's a very relevant question. I just mentioned about, graduates, 60% of the graduates don't have the relevant skills in finance.
Right.
Now, when it comes to, the average age somebody passes a chartered accountancy qualification is around 25 in the globally. Right. Now, end of the day, it's a highly competitive world as well out there. Now, what we need is the right relevant skills, and what we need is the opportunity to start much ahead. So the FIA qualification for that matter, so the advantage of this qualification is that this actually complements your school curriculum. So the papers that we have as part of the FIA qualification, the Diploma in Accounting and Business, is actually similar to the school curriculum, school accountancy, and other papers. Now, the advantage of this is that whilst you are learning the school curriculum and the FIA, this actually helps each other. And the advantage is that once you complete it, it gives you an opportunity to complete the ACCA qualification and be a chartered accountant, be a professionally qualified accountant at a young age of maybe 20, 21. We have got examples of students who have completed it at the age of 19 as well. So, Christian, if maybe like later on when you speak, you could cite the example of two of the students in Hyderabad, 12 and 13 years old. They started at a much younger age, and they are almost reached the professional level of the qualification.
Right.
And now coming back to the advantage of that, the FIA qualification, the Diploma in Accounting and Business, gives you an opportunity. So tomorrow, like if you want to, it actually gives you access to some of the top universities in India. For example, if we take the case of NMIMS or Christ University, Symbiosis, to name a few, or if you want to come and, after your FIA, if you want to move abroad, study in say UK, Ireland, or some of the other countries, pursue a undergraduate degree. So this qualification would actually give you the credit, and the universities would give you that preferential treatment. So that's the advantage.
Right. Great trend. Thank you so much. On that note, I would like to invite Kishan. Ren, you were saying something?
Thank you very much. No, thank you very much. I just wanted to, my sincere apologies that I have to take leave, but I just want to say that I wish all these, my young colleagues, all the very best, and I wish you all the success in your future, and looking forward to seeing you as successful finance professionals, and some of you in London as well. Thank you very much. Thank you, Kabila ma'am, for giving me an opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. It was really nice, wonderful hearing you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Pleasure. Bye-bye.
So let's welcome Kishan, who is heading North and East India for ACCA. Kishan, welcome to the show.
Hi, Murli. Thank you so much. And I hope all the students and the teachers are taking good care of themselves in these difficult times. And it is important that you keep yourself safe and your family safe in this situation and come out as a better person in times to come. Yeah.
Right. Kishan, Ren was mentioning about the fact that, I mean, students can start early with a professional qualification. And he was mentioning about examples of students starting at a tender age of 12 and 13. Kishan, can you just explain to our audience here, how is ACCA relevant to them? And
Right.
what is the right age to start a professional qualification?
Okay, very, very relevant question. So I would say that the question itself is very relevant, Murli. In fact, if you look at any professional qualification in this world, you can actually look forward to pursuing the same post your 10+2 only, right? If you look at the other qualifications which somebody can pursue before his 12th is known as vocational course. And vocational courses have certification programs and diploma programs, which are not professional in nature, right? Think about any course, whether it is hotel management or say fashion designing or say medical engineering or maybe chartered accountancy, you can get into it post your 10+2, which means that at the age of 17. However, when we came to India, we saw that there's a lot of similarity between what the students are actually studying in their school. And before that also, in case somebody has got that vision that he's looking forward to becoming a professional accountant, he or she can actually start at the age of 13 or 14 and look forward to finishing the qualification by the time, say, 18 or 19. I have got examples wherein people have completed the qualification before completing their 12th. Right.
Wow.
And
So,
once they have completed their 12th, they are actually simultaneously getting into the MSc qualification. Right. So somebody who is in the first year of graduation pursuing a BCom in India is also doing a MSc in professional accountancy from University of London. So you can imagine that is the way in which students are doing it right now. And the advantage which Ren mentioned, 25, if you look at the average age, right, and if you're able to complete it by say 20 also, if you start in class 11, say at the age of 16, and you can complete it by say 20, it means that you save 5 precious years of your life. And 5 years, I'm sure Kavita ma'am and the other teachers and parents will appreciate. Students might not be able to understand it right now, but I can tell you that 5 years are really very important. You can actually do a lot of things in 5 years. You can look forward to starting your career journey and moving ahead in the career ladder at an early stage. You will grow in terms of positions and salaries faster than others. And in fact, you can look forward to retiring earlier than anyone else. Right. So these are the kind of advantages which comes in front of you if you start early and look forward to retiring earlier.
Yeah, I wish I had this opportunity. I would have retired early and maybe gone on a world tour for the last 5 years. I mean, checking things out. So, I mean, Kishan, on this note, you were mentioning about starting early and completing the qualification. So, when you said the qualification, what exactly does the qualification mean? How many subjects? How much do they have to study? Can you just explain a little bit on that?
Right. So, Murli, our qualification, because it's a professional qualification, so it has got papers which are slightly technical in nature, but we have got in total 13 papers, out of which we would like the students to complete the first 3 papers during their school days only, before they complete their 12th, or maybe by the time they are getting their 12th board results, they should be able to complete those 3 papers so that they can get a diploma in accounting and business. Now, I'll tell you about these papers also. So we have got a paper called Business and Technology. Now, business and technology paper is quite similar to the business studies paper, right? Wherein people study about planning, organizing, directing, controlling type of companies, business environment. All those things are there in our qualification also. Only thing is that we have added certain new things like data science, machine learning, artificial intelligence. Now, it's not that the students are going to code or they're going to become engineers by studying them. They are supposed to understand these tools. They should know that, okay, these are the tools which are available. Because for an accountant, these are the tools. These are not the topics on which you have to code yourself. So they will just learn them. So this is the business and technology paper. Financial accounting, good thing is that financial accounting is financial accounting across the world. It doesn't change, right? Whether it is about doing your journal entries, preparing ledger, trial balance, P&L account, balance sheet, or the new requirement of statement of changes in equity, everything remains the same for everyone. So that's there in our financial accounting. And it's the same thing which is being taught in the schools also. If you look at the management accounting paper, it talks about ratios, cash flow statement, fund flow statement, right? And the other ratios and analysis related things which are required to prepare the right management reports is being taught in the management accounting paper. Once you do these 3 papers, interestingly, you can do these 3 papers in your school And also, you are not supposed to move out to write the exams. You can write the examinations in a computer-based examination center, or maybe right now, because Corona times are there, students can write the exams from the comfort of their homes. And they will also get the results on the spot. So they will go to so there's a computer-based screen which will be there in front of them. They will attempt all the papers, the entire paper, and they will get their scores also immediately on the time they submit the examination. So you click on the submit button and your result is also there in front of you, right? And then you look forward to getting this diploma. Further to that, you have got papers in law, taxation, in financial reporting, in audit, in financial management, right? And these are the areas which are really very important. And students can actually look forward to completing 9 papers. So the next 6 set of papers, and they can get an advanced diploma in accounting and business from ACCA. Plus to that, they can actually look forward to getting a BSc honors in applied accounting from Oxford Brookes University by just submitting a dissertation report. Dissertation means a project report. You submit a project report, and topic can be, say, e-commerce in Jamshedpur. You just choose that topic. Just don't copy it from others, right? So if you prepare your own original report, the university will appreciate it. They will give the due credits for whatever papers you have done for ACCA. And based on that, you will get a BSc honors in applied accounting. This degree is similar to the degree which is being offered to a student who is studying in London. So there's no difference at all. In fact, you can go ahead and attend the convocation ceremony, which happens in Dubai, Singapore, and London. Only thing is, let the corona get over. People can very well go to these places and attend the convocation ceremonies. And then students get into the final leg, wherein we have got the professional papers like strategic business leader, strategic business reporting, and advanced level papers. Interestingly, people can actually look forward to starting their career once they have completed their first 9 papers only. In fact, there are organizations, ma'am, Kavita ma'am will appreciate that. Organizations like KPMG, Ernst & Young, PricewaterhouseCoopers, Grant Thornton, right? And there are various other organizations who are actually not only hiring the candidates, they're also sponsoring their qualification for their further studies. So the rest of the papers are sponsored by them. In fact, they give leaves also to go ahead and prepare for the exam and write the examination. So that's the kind of support which is being provided by the corporate. So 7,291 plus employers, as Ren mentioned. Most of the employers are supporting our students. Yeah.
Right. Kishan, that's a lot of information packed into one answer. So if I understood correctly, what you did mention is that ACCA qualification is about 13 papers altogether, out of which the first 3 papers they can take up right now in the school. Once they complete these 3 papers, clear these 3 papers, they'll get a diploma in accounting and business, right? And once they complete these 3 papers, they can move forward to completing the next 6 papers, which when they complete, they get an advanced diploma in accounting and business. And in addition to that, they can also earn a BSc honors in applied accounting from Oxford Brookes University, right? So, and when they complete, and once they have completed 9 papers, they are ready to take up the job. I mean, there are organizations which are offering them job. In addition to paying the salary, they also help them in clearing the examination, the last 4 papers. So when they complete the last 4 papers, in addition to getting ACCA qualification, is there anything else that they can, they're eligible to get?
So as I mentioned, they can actually get a MSc in professional accountancy from University of London, which is amongst the top 10 in the world. Yeah. And for getting that MSc, one has to attempt only 2 examinations. And exams happen in India, in cities like Delhi, Mumbai, Calcutta, Chennai, all these places, the examinations happen. So people can very well go there and write these examinations. Or maybe right now, because Corona times are there, so examinations can happen from their home only. But I'm sure when these students will come out, until that time, Corona would be completely over. So we need not worry about that. Plus to that, they have an opportunity to get an MBA also from a lot of Indian business schools. In fact, a very well-known business school called Birla Institute of Management and Technology in in Noida is offering an MBA after completion of 9 papers only. So once they have completed 9 papers, they can enroll themselves into the MBA program at the Birla Institute of Management Technology, which is amongst the top 10 in the country. Yeah.
Okay. So Kishan, what I understood is that after 13 papers, in addition to getting the ACCA qualification, they are also eligible to get an MSc in professional accounting from University of London, which is one of the top 10 universities of the world. And so now in this whole process of getting these qualification, is there some kind of a age limitation in the sense that they can only complete 3 papers while they're in school? They cannot take more than that? Is there some kind of a condition?
There's no condition like that. In case students are prepared and they feel that yes, they would like to attempt the rest of the papers, so they are free to move. So there is no restriction at all. What we want is that they should not take any kind of pressure while attempting the exams. If you pick up one paper, prepare well for that paper, then chances of you passing that are much more higher than you picking up say 3-4 papers together and writing all 4 papers together. Right. And there are cases people know that you have to prepare for 4. If you fail in one, you have to attempt all 4, which is not the case with us. We would like you to prepare only one paper and then move ahead. If you are proficient and you feel that, yes, I can manage more, you're free to do so. In fact, one student can actually write around 6 papers in a year. So that is the kind of flexibility which is there.
Okay. So Kishan, in your previous answer, you did mention about all the examinations being computer-based examination. And moreover, you mentioned that during the pandemic period, you have a special provision where students can attempt examination right from their homes, right? So, so Kishan, I was just thinking about it. So, which basically means I can keep my book open beside the screen and look at the answers and give the answers. Yeah, that's allowed.
Okay. So, Murli, Kavita ma'am was talking about something. I think you have forgotten that. She spoke about application-oriented learning, right? And that's what is there in the ACCA qualification. We are not a theory-based qualification. Everything is application-based. So if you open the book, you'll definitely fail. Right. So
that's so sad.
That's what we say.
Okay.
Right. So you need to apply what has been taught to you. If you are able to apply what has been taught in the classroom, it's like using a camera, right? So if you look at the picture of a camera, you will not understand how the camera works. But when you take the camera in hand and you click a picture, then you understand how it operates. That's what we want the students to do. You like them to have that camera in the hand and click those pictures, right? So that they're able to apply what they have learned in the classroom. That's what is the objective here. So don't prepare to fail. Please prepare to pass. Don't open your books. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So Kishan, you did mention about the fact that camera example that you cited right now. So you said that giving them something in the hand so that they can understand. So is there some specific different means of teaching that you cover that differentiates from the normal method of teaching and learning that happens for these students? Is there some kind of a hands-on activity?
Yeah, so if you look at the entire qualification itself, what we have done is that we have come up with this accountancy lab concept, wherein students will be able to do all those hands-on activities within their classrooms. They'll be able to see that how the numbers are moving. Instead of just remembering that, okay, in a P&L account, you have sales revenues, you have expenses, and then you come to the profit, subtract the taxes, and you get the net profit. So that's not like that. What you have to understand is that, okay, if my revenues are growing by 5 times every year and my profit is also not growing substantially, and maybe my losses are increasing, then what are the reasons? I should know those reasons behind it, right? Rather than just looking at the numbers. So what we do is that, Murli, we provide them with all the formulas, right? We give them the calculator, we give them all the formulas, everything is there in front of them. And we will not ask them to solve numericals. They need to understand what is the concept. So it is more about building their foundation and their concepts for the future, so that they become better professionals, better people in the long run. Rather than just telling them that, okay, it's there. Just for an example, please, no offenses to mathematics. Sine theta, cos theta, I never understood how to use it actually practically on the ground. Right. So, but what I'm saying here is that whatever you are being taught in the classroom, you can actually see that happening outside. Like, for example, if your teachers are talking about money flow, you can see that happening outside when demonetization is being talked about. Right. If you actually talk about GST, which Prime Minister talks on his microphone, you can actually see that happening outside. You go and talk to a shopkeeper and he'll tell you what is happening with the GST with him. Right. So you will be able to relate to all these topics. And because you're able to relate to it, you're able to apply it in your learning, and we will create those environments so that they get that hands-on learning and prepare themselves towards becoming a better professional in the long run, as I mentioned.
Okay. Kishan, because some of my notions were shattered when you said that I cannot use my book to give examination. I cannot use it to take help from. So I just would like to understand the first 2 papers you said that will be computer-based examination and they can give from their homes. I hope handwriting won't matter in the rest of the papers. So I don't have a very good handwriting. Hope you'll not be deducting marks for handwriting in the rest of the papers.
Okay. So Murli, in MS Word, if you're using Arial font, right? So the handwriting for all of us would be the same, right?
Yes.
Right. So in the similar way, all the ACC exams are computer based only. There is no paper based examination. And why this has happened is previously we had paper based examinations, but then we got a feedback from the corporates and the employers that why are you asking them to write on pen and paper? In fact, your balance sheets and P&L accounts are nowadays not prepared through pen and paper anymore. These are being prepared by the softwares or the robots. Right, and these people can actually do everything for you. They can prepare that report for you, give you all the numbers, they will crunch all the numbers for you. But what you have to do is you have to actually take the right decisions for the organization, and you can't take those decisions if you just know that, okay, how to solve a numerical. You should actually know that why this thing has happened. In fact, what has happened is, Murli, and you'll appreciate that, and Kavita ma'am, she herself is a chartered accountant. The role of a finance manager or an accountant has changed from just doing number crunching. They have become business partners, right? They don't just do number crunching. They actually go out and actually talk to people at large. They have to do a lot of public speaking. Right. Gone are the days wherein accountants just used to sit inside, like in the 80s movies, that somebody's wearing a specs and is just writing in a bahi khata or something. No, accountants are not doing these things anymore, right? They are doing too many other things, right? They run organizations, they are CEOs, they are entrepreneurs, they're CFOs, right? They manage risk, they do audits. In fact, auditors have become wellness experts for the future now. That's the way in which things are changing.
Right, great. So Kishan, I mean, the qualification does sound interesting, but then because as a student, one concern, I mean, rather the first thing that when I was in school, something that I always used to feel is that when am I going to get out of the school environment and go into college and enjoy the freedom, right? I mean, so that is what always was in my thought. And these students they're also looking forward to, I'm sure, to getting out of the school and out of all this discipline and where they can do what they want. But back of their mind, they have this one thought that is always troubling them, that how to get into a good college or good university, how to get admission. So is there something that ACCA, because you're talking about starting this professional qualification while being in school, is there some specific advantage that these students will get completing this qualification?
So in fact, Ren mentioned about it that we are currently working with around 97 plus universities in the country. And we have got more than 400 plus universities in Europe and UK. A lot of universities in Australia, New Zealand, Singapore, Middle East, Africa. Obviously, if you want to go there, choice is yours. Otherwise, there are various countries where students can actually look forward to going there and studying further. So they get the due credits. In fact, for India, most of these universities, they recognize that, okay, if you have done a diploma in accounting and business, right, we will give you the preference. For example, Murli, the cutoff for, say, Christ University is 90%, just an example.
Right. Okay.
And I have scored 88%, plus I have a diploma in accounting and business, and you have scored 92. And you don't have a diploma in accounting and business, I'll be preferred over you.
Ah, that's not fair.
Because I carry that diploma in accounting and business from ACCA.
So I need to enroll right away.
Obviously, there is no other option. So the worry today, and I think teachers will appreciate, Kavita ma'am, parents, that the worry for the parents today is not that whether my son or daughter will score 90% or not, because everybody scores 90% today, right? Their worry is that whether they'll get into a good college or not. At least we can solve that problem. We have got institutions like Christ, like Loyola's, like Xavier's, Nasim Monjee Institute of Management Studies, Symbiosis, Manipal, right? In fact, in Delhi University, we have introduced this program. Bangalore University, all the 650 colleges are offering the ACCA qualification there, right? Osmania University in Hyderabad. So like this, various universities are right now offering the qualification. Students have a choice. They can go ahead and study in these institutions. Otherwise, they can parallelly study wherever they are. So ACCA qualification is very flexible, and we give the similar kind of a support to a student who is in the university or studying on his own. So the support remains the same for all the students.
Right. Kishan, although I mean international qualification sounds prestigious, the cost of acquiring it is normally very high. I mean, that's what we have seen till now. Leave alone the cost of study, the living cost in a foreign country is mind-boggling. So are we wrong in concluding that international qualification is only for the rich, or you need to have enough resources or get a very high scholarship, then only you can go into international qualification?
So again, a very interesting question, Murli. International qualification in the international location is always expensive. but in the local location, it is cheaper, right? When you are in India, obviously you need to be treated like an Indian. You can't be treated like a Britisher because there is a difference between the pound and the INR prices. Or maybe an American who is looking at dollars, right? Wherein for $1 he's buying a burger from McDonald's. And say, for example, we get the same burger at 30 rupees here, which is half the dollar, so 50 cents. So that's the difference which is there. So in India, obviously the qualification is much more cheaper, I would say, and affordable. Because when we came to India, we understood that the market is different. The sentiments here are different. We have provided a lot of scholarships and opportunities to the students. In fact, the students from Mount Literacy School in Jamshedpur, we will conduct a small test for them. And if they pass that test, they will get a scholarship from our side, right, to pursue the ACCA qualification. So this makes the qualification much more affordable for everyone, right? And that's the way in which we do it. The qualification, if you go to UK, you spend somewhere around 15 lakhs to 20 lakhs to pursue this. If you do it in India, you can do it within hardly 1.8 to 2 lakh rupees, which is, I would say, 10% of the total cost which somebody has to spend in the UK. And Kavita ma'am, I'm sure you have been to international locations. You know how expensive it is to study in most of the countries now. And if you look at India also, and C-grade business schools, Murli, they will charge at least 10 lakh or 15 lakh rupees for a 2-year MBA program, right? Here, the advantage is that there's a lot of employment opportunity which is there, not because ACCA is here, it's just because India is growing. We are growing as a country, right? We have invited so many organizations of countries like Europe, US, Australia, New Zealand. They have come and set up a shop here, and they are looking forward to people. And we Indians, we are considered to be the best in terms of working for these organizations because of two things. One, obviously, we're very ambitious and passionate. Two, we speak the same language, whatever they want us to speak. So with an American, we can speak fast. With a Chinese or a Singaporean, we can speak slowly, right? So that's the way in which we are able to manage situations. So we are the right fit for such jobs. And I can tell you, jobs are very close to the place they are staying right now. So in Calcutta, we have got various jobs with PricewaterhouseCoopers, KPMG, etc. You look at Lucknow, we have got jobs with various organizations like HCL, etc. You move to Gurgaon, Noida, a lot of organizations, at least I can tell you that 80 plus organizations are there who are ready to hire. If you look at Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai, Trivandrum, Mumbai, Ahmedabad, all these places jobs are there. As I said, the newer cities are also coming up with a lot of jobs. In fact, places like Jamshedpur and Dehradun will soon have jobs there. And Kavita ma'am, I can tell you that Grant Thornton has started their operations in majority of the tier 2 and tier 3 towns, including Jamshedpur now. So they look forward to that. Tata Steel is hiring a lot of accountants. When we are in discussions with Tata Steel's ITC in Calcutta, they hire a lot of people. So like this, opportunities are tremendous. I can tell you that I've got more jobs and less number of people to apply to those jobs. So the demand for the qualification is such that more number of people are required, but obviously we are still at the student stage. We'll be able to provide them with professionals on a later date only. So opportunity remains the same, not only today, in future also. You have seen, we are already 116 years young, right? And I think we'll remain young for another 100 years or 200 years further. So that's the way in which we're trying to do it. And we are young because obviously we deal with students who are young and passionate, and we are able to create right careers for them in the long term.
Right. So Kishan, I just would like to understand, I mean, how does a student enroll into this program?
Very simply, they have to first attempt the test, which is known as International Accountancy Proficiency Test. This would be conducted in the school. The syllabus would be very, very simple. Don't worry about that. What is important is you need to have the right aptitude. Normally, the test costs 1,000 rupees. It would be free for all the students of Mount Literacy School. We are not going to charge anything. So I would request all the students to write this test at least. Once you write this test, based on your performance in the test, you will be receiving a certificate of participation, and the amount of scholarship would be told to you, right? And once you decide to enroll, you can very well, after passing the exam, so you have to pass, that's important. If you fail, obviously I can't do anything. You have to score at least 50% in the examination to pass the exam. And then definitely you can look forward to joining the program. We are more than happy to welcome you, and look forward to all these students getting into the program for the long term. Yeah.
Right, great. Kavita ma'am, I have a question for you, but before I ask you the question, I have a small announcement to make. Students, please type in your questions. Whatever questions you have, you can type in the chat box, and we'll take it up right after a couple of more questions, and then we'll be coming to your questions. So I have this question, ma'am, Kavita ma'am. Many times the career choices are driven by external forces for the students, either by family members or who are from a particular industry, or by their whims, what our students should choose. So would you say that we should have orientation and sensitization sessions for the students and parents so that they can make informed choices about their future courses, right? From class 7 onwards, we should have these kind of sessions. Ma'am, you're mute, ma'am. Ma'am, kindly unmute yourself.
Sorry, sir. Yeah, I feel so. It's much required, because sensitizing them at a later stage becomes really difficult because the mindset is already building that the parent wants, that he should take up science or he should become an engineer or a doctor rather than understanding the aptitude and the ability of the child. So I feel if you start at a younger age or a younger age, when the parent is ready to accept the child, the interest of the child, and we can work together, to understand or maybe change the course of the subject if in case required. It's always better, I feel, if they're more informed at an early age or at a middle school level than starting working towards, at a secondary or a senior secondary level. I feel middle school level is much better time when we should start the career counseling programs for the parents or maybe the child.
Right. Ma'am, you have heard about
Yes,
earning this international qualification while being in school and starting off on a professional qualification at a younger age. So, so what is your opinion on this?
So I feel like I am excited. Okay, I feel that I should also pursue this program. I don't know, Mr. Krishnan only can tell me that can we pursue this program? Even chartered accountants are qualified. There is an age bar.
There is no age bar, ma'am. My youngest student is 75 years young.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so age bar is not there. I can tell you, it's about your interest, and there are a lot of chartered accountants who are pursuing the ACC qualification right now. I can tell you.
That's
and I
great.
suppose is there some exemption, Krishan, for chartered accountants?
Yes, 9 papers are exempted for the chartered.
Oh, that's great.
So you have to attempt only the 4 papers. Yeah.
Right.
4 subjects we can know well in advance.
Yeah.
Yes.
These are the professional level papers, as mentioned by me: strategic business leader, which is a case study based exam; strategic business reporting, which talks about financial reporting, IFRS, and then obviously there are 4, I would say, advanced level papers, wherein we have advanced financial management, performance management, which is related to costing, and then advanced taxation and advanced audit. So you can choose any 2 out of those. So 2 plus 2.
Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Right.
I look forward along with my students to start this program.
Sure.
I really appreciate the efforts taken by ACCA to launch this program at the school level, because it's much important, and children can pursue their careers at a very right age, than waiting for some successful completion of some degrees. One question I have for Mr. Krishnan, the financial or the earning level of a child after completing the ACCA in India, is it better than a chartered accountant, or it starts with the package?
Very interesting question, ma'am. So when we look at the salaries, ma'am, salary numbers are slightly, I would say, if I talk about the numbers, it would be disillusion for anyone, because there are numbers which are very high, and then we should look at the average. Now, practically for a professional accountant, the average remains the same, more or less, right? When we look at the opportunities, obviously, in a wallet, ma'am, every note that you carry has the similar importance, right? Maybe the denomination differs, but somebody would be carrying a 2,000 rupee note, you might have a 500 rupee note, we might have a 200 or a 100 rupee note. Each note has got its own importance, right? So,
Kishan, stop giving this politically right answer. Be specific. How much is the package? That's what we want to know.
So that's what I'm coming to that. So now, if you look at the average package which is being offered to a professional accountant after completing the full qualification, that's 8.14 lakhs in the country today, right? And somebody who has completed part qualification, now with the other qualification, without comparing, ma'am, I can't compare, because obviously there is an importance of all the qualifications. And normally, Murli, you know that we don't talk about the competition. Right. So
we'll talk about ACCA only. Yes.
Yes, yes. So I can tell about ACCA. I know that with part qualification, ma'am, the average CTC which is being offered to the students is between 4.5 to 5.5 right now. But I can tell you that in the last 3 years, we have seen a growth of 42% on the salaries.
Okay.
The growth has been tremendous, right? And this growth is going to go up further only, because obviously what is happening is, ma'am, and this is very interesting, and I would like to just quote these things. Financial reporting. So India has moved to Indian accounting standards now, right? Ind AS. And Ind AS is nothing but IFRS, barring one or two sections. And we do not have many people who understand IFRS today in India, right? So there is a huge requirement. There is an estimate that India needs at least 5 lakh plus professionals by 2022. And do you know how many we are producing? Thanks to the pass rates of the professional qualification, we don't produce many, right? And that's why there'll always be a gap for the people who are required. Look at the situation of audit today, ma'am. After the fiasco of PNB, Yes Bank, Satyam, so many other organizations, what has happened is that the importance of an auditor has increased. In fact, all the banks are hiring internal auditors. And can you imagine a bank like Axis Bank, which has got a cluster concept? For each cluster, they're hiring one internal auditor. Each cluster. And one cluster will have, say, 10 branches, hardly. So you can imagine the scale at which people are required. Look at SBI, 25,000 branches across the country. They will need so many people. So in the similar way, the requirement is increasing, but the supply is very, very less.
Right.
That's why, and the good thing with the professional qualifications is, and especially like ours, is that we are not only preparing you to be an accountant, we are preparing you to become a business leader in the long run.
That's
right.
great.
So it's, yeah. So that's the differentiator which is there.
And that has to be because, as I know, like in the chartered accountancy, there's a lot of the skill gaps, like the chartered accountant competency gaps, you can say. But as I mentioned, that ACCA papers will be taking care of the environment or the application part of it. Okay. And will ensure that the quality is met. Okay. I feel that will also create the differentiators.
True.
Definitely, ma'am. Yeah.
I have
one more question I have.
Yeah. Yes,
students.
Yeah.
How do you ensure that the environment of the application, contextual learning is set?
Right.
Some examples could be just shared in short.
Sure, ma'am. Sure. So what we do is that ma'am, number one, we actually conduct a train the trainer for your teachers. We tell them how to teach a professional qualification. They already know how to teach commerce subjects. They are proficient enough to handle them. But when it comes to professional qualification, there is a slight difference, right? And when we are talking about the application orientation, so it is important that they are able to get the understanding towards the application orientation of whatever they're teaching. So that's what we do. That's the first thing. Second is we come up with this accountancy lab, which is known as FEEL, which is Finance Experience and Engagement Lab. Which can be started in the school, in your school, wherein students would be able to actually go ahead and study all the concepts. Their foundation would be becoming much more stronger. And because obviously, ma'am, as you know that the topics do not change. Journal remains journal everywhere in the world, right? But you need to understand how to interpret that. Interpretation is more important, right? It is not about finding that missing information in a stock statement, right? So it's not like that. What is important is to actually understand that, okay, how these stocks have changed over the last 5 years and why it is changing. If my sales are not increasing, then why these sales are not increasing? I have to do that analysis, and that's what we do. We will create those examples and opportunities. In fact, in audit, we create the audit situation. We give the complete situation in front of an individual to understand that how audit happens. So there are simulation exercises for that.
So I think
it helps
Kishan,
the students learn it better.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think Kishan would like to mention the example that we normally provide, where the questions, for example, on acquisition and merger is not about the definition of acquisition and merger. Or for example, if there is a case of Vodafone and Idea merging, so the question is not what is the impact in Vodafone or Idea's balance sheet. Rather in ACCA, the question will be what is the impact of this acquisition or merger on Reliance Jio. So how will the Vodafone and Idea merger impact Jio? That is what a financial accountant has to come up with, professional accountant has to come up with. So that's a kind of pattern of questioning also.
Yeah. So in other exams, ma'am, people will ask you what is merger and what is acquisition. We will not ask that. We'll talk about the impact, and answers would be open, ma'am. It's like, for example, you are sitting in a hall and fire happens, then how do you react to that situation? There are no right answers, there are no wrong answers, right? What is important is how do you present that to the examiner? Your presence of mind and your thought process would be the differentiator. Yeah.
Right. So, Kishan, there is one question that has come to me.
Great,
So,
you have answered.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
I have this question from one of the students who wants to know that he says that I am going to get into business after I complete my studies. So will enrolling in this qualification help me?
Okay, this is again a very, very interesting question, Murli, and very close to my heart, I would say, because entrepreneurship is something, it is not about starting your enterprise. It may be that you are not able to start your enterprise throughout your life, but it is about that behavior of enterprising behavior, I would call it. You need to have that behavior for the future. The other thing is that, as Kavita ma'am also mentioned, that if you are able to understand the nuances of finance and accounts yourself, and you then start your enterprise, what do you need for to start an enterprise? People will say you need an idea. Obviously, idea can be given by a person who is trying to invent or discover. That person is known as a scientist, right? You are not a scientist, but you are an entrepreneur. You're going to commercialize that opportunity into something. To commercialize, you need funds. You need to know how, from where I should source the funds, where will I actually use those funds, and how will I actually manage my accounts for the future. And if you are an accountant yourself, nobody would be able to fool you. There have been cases recently wherein people said that, okay, I don't know, I'm just the CEO. This is being managed by my CFO. No, you cannot say that. As a CEO, you should know how your accounts are functioning, what's happening with your finances. And if you know it well, and people know that you're a professional accountant, nobody will take you for a ride, I can tell you. Because they know that my boss is a professional accountant himself. Right? So that's the biggest advantage which comes. Yeah.
Right. I have a question from Prachi Kishan, who wants to know a few professions where this course will be helpful. So if you can just name, is it just accounting or is there any other industry also where it will be helpful?
Right. So Prachi, very, very relevant question. As Ren was mentioning, accountant is required everywhere. You think about an organization, everywhere an accountant is required. So it becomes a pervasive function. Now, accountancy has got various gamuts. You can be an auditor, you can be an external auditor, you can be an internal auditor, you can be a risk manager for an organization, you can be into taxes, right? So you can manage the taxes for the organization. You can actually become a management accountant wherein you are preparing the right reports for the management to take the decisions for the long term, right? You can be into investment banking, you can be into corporate banking, you can be into crediting, right? You can be into underwriting in an insurance company because you understand accounts and numbers quite well. So there are various areas you can actually look forward to entering into. Opportunities are tremendous. See, the good thing with a professional qualification like ours is that there is no one area in which you'll be looking at. The door will open to various areas and streams or verticals in which you can go ahead and make your career. You can look forward to social sector, right? You can look forward to the government sector, various opportunities across. So don't worry. If the name is accountant, it doesn't mean that it is just becoming an accountant. Accountant is doing too many things, right? And opportunities are tremendous, I can tell you. Yeah.
Great, great. Kishan, that's wonderful. So if you have any questions, students, you can type it in. And Kavita ma'am, thank you so much for giving us this opportunity. And students can share your questions even later on our email ID. And I request all of you to provide your feedback on this link, and the certificate of participation will be sent to you. And I'll be providing this link on your chat box also, so that you can click on the link and directly give your feedback. Ma'am, thank you so much for giving this opportunity to us and to interacting, and it has been a wonderful interaction. And we look forward to having the scholarship test conducted for your students. So if you're okay, ma'am, then we can have the scholarship test scheduled tomorrow. If that is that okay? Or you'd like it to be scheduled some other date?
Maybe we get 1 or 2 days more.
Sure, ma'am. Then I'll get in touch with you.
Children are set.
Sure, ma'am.
So,
we'll get in touch with you, and we'll get it done. Not a problem at all. And thank you so much, ma'am, for this opportunity. And we are looking forward to interacting with you and meeting you sometime soon, once the situation permits. Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am.
It was a one thing and kept us on, and made me think so much. Okay, thank you, Mr. Krishan. Your answers, the way you answered, we must learn that skill, and that made us very clear on lot of points. Okay, and the way you captured a lot of information in such a short time, I feel it will be very, very useful for students and parents to understand and take a decision ahead. And the scholarship offered, thanks a lot, because that will really make a lot of impact, and will help to create a better future for our children. Thanks a lot for organizing such a wonderful session. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Manish,
Thank you.
is there around?
Yeah, Manish is also there, ma'am. He's also there. Right. Thank you, students, for being patiently attending and asking those very engaging questions. All the best for your future, and we'll be in touch with you about the scholarship examination through the school. Thank you so much. Thank you, Kishan, for attending. Thank you, Divya. Thank you, Manish, for arranging this webinar. And thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. All the best.
Thank you.